Is boomtown Dubai going bust? The Emirates' request for a reprieve on its debts has rattled investors' confidence. Is the once prosperous, gleaming city on the Gulf on the brink of collapse? And what are the implications for the global economy? This is Inside Story. Hello there, welcome to the programme. I'm Nick Clark. Some have called it the Vegas of the Gulf, and now it looks like those investing in Dubai could be gambling with their money. Dubai's debt runs at around $80 billion. Its leading investment corporation is responsible for over two-thirds of that, and it's having trouble paying the money back. Bethan Howe reports now on the financial bubble that's deflating rapidly.
Eid al-Adha in the United Arab Emirates. As the rest of the world celebrates the Islamic holiday, Dubai's business leaders may feel less than inclined to join in the festivities. Last week, a government-owned investment company shook the financial world by suggesting it can't afford to repay its debts. Dubai World has total debts of $59 billion. It was due to repay $3.5 billion in December, but now it's asking to delay that repayment until next May.
Shockwaves is the right expression. I think that this is, in a default in everything but name. This has surprised the entire business community and no more than international banks who stand to potentially lose billions here.
Borrowing on the strength of 6 years of extremely rapid growth, Dubai has been trying to establish itself as a financial and tourist destination. But, like the rest of the world, the global economic crisis has taken its toll. Since this time last year, property prices have dropped over 50%. Hundreds of thousands of expat workers have left or been sent home. There are cars abandoned at the airport, and unfinished building projects stand empty all over the once bustling emirate. The capital of the UAE, Abu Dhabi, has offered to step in. It has more oil than its flashier neighbour and a reputation for understated investment. But Abu Dhabi says it will only help on a case-by-case basis, so it may not take over all of Dubai World's debts. And it could ask for greater control over those it does take over, leaving the market jittery. After Wednesday's announcement, stock markets across the world fell amid fears that Dubai would not be able to pay back its many creditors. The announcement was made on the eve of the Eid holiday, when most banks and businesses close for a week. So those investors will have a tense few days until they find out if there's a temporary or more permanent solution to Dubai's current crisis. Bethan Howe, Inside Story.
Well, joining us now are our guests. In Dubai, Ibrahim Kayat, he's a strategic and business analyst. In Amman, we have Ibrahim Saif, he's an economist at the University of Jordan. And in Nairobi in Kenya, Ali Khan Satchu, he's a stock market analyst. I'd like to start with you, sir, Ali Khan Satchu. Dubai's failure was inevitable sooner or later, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and I think, it was a giant case of hype and rhetoric veiling the reality. And I think really Dubai is a classic case of bull market traders who took way too long to deal with the situation at hand. And we're now piercing the rhetoric, and we're seeing it for the truth. I mean, in the medium term, it's going to recover, but in the near term, we're looking at an almighty crash here.
So, Ibrahim Kayat, what should Dubai have done in your view? They were investing precisely because they knew that the oil would run out at some point. Is it just that they went at it too hard and too fast?
Too fast, yes, probably. They were very ambitious, but oil is still 3% of the total local GDP in Dubai. So it never counted as reserve or cash money, source of cash money for the Emirates. So what they probably should have done since the crisis, they were not responsible for the international crisis. They should have adopted another approach, not to hide the information, and to come up with the same defiance they've shown before. They should have kept it during the crisis and coming up with solutions, not waiting to the last minute to unfold their new strategy on defaulting on their debts.
But with the respect, sir, that's easy to say, isn't it? What kind of solutions are you talking about?
I would say that first they should have probably started with the merger of Emir and with Dubai World. Both they should have merged their real estate property operations. This has taken too long. They should have done it a month ago. This should have helped them consolidating their debts, also talking to their creditors, and also trying to find a solution, not waiting to the last minute, because basically Dubai is not saying it's going to default on its loans, on its debts. It is saying it's just postponing, which means it is opening the door for negotiations. So instead of letting the market interpreting their own initiatives and taking the lead in just in analyzing what Dubai's intentions are, better to have done it on their own, coming up with a plan and not waiting to the last minute. And this was, I think, one of the errors that have marred the way the salvation plan for Dubai's economic crisis now.
So Ibrahim Saif, in your view, was this predictable, or do you think it was preventable?
Well, I think we need to be clear that until weeks ago, even within the high-ranking officials in Dubai, they still were denying that this global crisis would lead them to what is we have witnessed last Wednesday in terms of default in paying back the debt. I think not only that we're talking about technically the debt and the burden and the property market in Dubai, but more we have maybe to revisit the whole model in Dubai now and trying to identify what's went wrong and whether this financial leverage and huge investment projects were justified on financial basis, on economic basis and other basis, or should have they waited more and more, and should have they tried again to not only consolidate within Dubai but also trying to coordinate a kind of regional response with other Emirates and within the region, and trying to look back what went wrong and trying to adopt policies that are not a kind of reaction to what is happening, as much proactive policies trying to mitigate the impact of this crisis, which as the first questions you've mentioned, it was sort of inevitable that it was going to happen, but it was a matter of time, and I think they were buying time hoping that things will get improved. But unfortunately what we are witnessing now is that they couldn't get out of the mess that easily, and in many countries actually, let's say those in the US and Europe, there were huge rescue packages, while we haven't witnessed that in generally in the Arab countries, in Dubai in particular, with this leverage, with this exposure to the international market. Something should have been done in running up to this crisis, but that was avoided or postponed, and we're, I think, living now on this, and what we are lying ahead is, I think, it's still the worst to come after this announcement.
Let's try and assess what lies ahead now, what kind of impact all this is going to have regionally and globally. Ali Khan Satchu in Nairobi. Well, first of all, do you think Dubai will default on its debts, and what impact would that have if that happened?
Look, a standstill is a technical default as per any global criteria. They have defaulted already. That's the point. And what we have is this reality and rhetoric gap. The reality is they're in default. The last countries to be in default I can recall were Russia, Thailand, Mexico, Argentina. This is the league that we're now in. The problem, I think, at a level is that we're dealing with an imperial court, where I seriously question the capacity and competency at the top. And I think there is a complete lack, there's a scenario of sycophancy. People are not telling the Sheikh, look, this is ridiculous, deal with it. And there's been this thing of postponing the inevitable. And I think a lot of the credibility has drained from the system. To come back in the way Dubai had, it was a marvelous vision, but it was pirouetted on short-term debt, callable at any moment, and now it's all being called like all the other crises we've witnessed. So, and I'm now really worried even more, because what we found is we've concentrated power now in a very small group of people whom did not deal with the situation when they should have dealt with it. The ripple effects are already being felt across the Middle East with a repricing of insurance, CDS. You know, you can insure country risk. These have already moved out. There's a tequila effect that we're witnessing. But and obviously there are going to be exposures within Western and European banks as well. So the question is, you know, how the ripple effects, I think it's containable. We're talking about $60 billion of outstandings. In the scheme of things, it's not enormous. You know, the US is offside $2 trillion if you want to make a comparison. But the problem I think that Dubai faces now is a credibility gap, and also how are bankers meant to believe what is coming out of this current situation? And I think those are the issues that need to be addressed.
Okay, so what does it mean to Dubai's future as a financial centre, as a major financial centre, Ibrahim Kayat?
I believe Dubai as a place that has a real vision and where there is a real financial market that was the fastest one growing in the world, this will be affected in the short term. But also we should understand that when Dubai was trying to find a solution, the way things happen in this region, Dubai is a small player on the international arena. So it's true, technically, a lot of issues should have been done, but also Dubai, as a business model for development, has been built around the idea of serving adjacent economies. And when the crisis happened, the issue we're talking about is not $60 billion. This is not true. Dubai has liabilities around $84 or $88 billion. Dubai World has a lot of assets, but the loans are $30 billion. But Dubai as a total needs $12 billion to pay back next year, $19 billion in 2011, and $18 billion in 2012. So over a period of 3 years, this is an issue that can be debated and can be sorted out. This is not a big amount if we can see the scale of projects that have been done in Dubai. But the problem here is, when Dubai went, let's say, to Saudi Arabia asking for money, they asked for, let's say, political payment to pay back, which is with regard to the trade with Iran, to stop it. Probably Abu Dhabi didn't help much. It helped, but it was the main basically backer of Dubai. But Qatar also refused to give any money. So here the issue is, it's about competitiveness in this region between main economic hubs, and that we didn't recognize the role of Dubai as a catalyzer for the regional growth and development. And suddenly it has the role of Dubai is bigger than its own assets. And now the way the market is affected, this is, we can analyze it financially and economically. But the role on the long term for the region, if Dubai is affected, it will affect the growth in the whole region. So Dubai as a financial center, it will continue. I believe with money we're talking about is $20–30 billion. Next week, I hope we will have some news that will be announced in Dubai, and between the main lenders, big lenders from especially the UK. We're talking about $30 billion that probably next week the negotiations will start. Dubai has just taken everybody by surprise when announcing that it is going to postpone. So the idea, it's about the management of this payment, which is about $4 billion now.
Okay, Mr. Kayat,
preceded it
I want to
before.
jump in there because you mentioned Abu Dhabi, and in a sense we're looking at Abu Dhabi as a sensible big brother that's going to help out its errant sibling. But is that true? Let me pose that question to you, Ibrahim Saif.
Yeah, well, let me just put something in perspective here, is that it's not only 3.5 billion that we're talking about. I think the matter is that Dubai has been registered solid, strong growth for like the last 2 decades, and it was sold and marketed as the miracle in the region. And whether this model is sustainable or not, I think this is what we are witnessing globally now, whether this hyper-free market can be sustained in the long run, and whether really can pioneering financial engineering and with a free spirit is the solution. This is what now people in the region are witnessing, and this is why even other countries which are competing with Dubai to become the financial and business hub in the region are careful now in analyzing and reading the model. Well, as far as Abu Dhabi is concerned, well, Abu Dhabi was watching what is happening in Dubai, whether happily or unhappily, but clearly now they also want to pass the message that we are not willing to burden or to furnish the bill to rescue Dubai from what is happening, and we will be very selective and we'll be very careful through our sovereign wealth fund. This is the message that they are getting through to Dubai, and the thing is that as long as we are denying that there is something fundamentally wrong in the model, as long as we are denying that using these financial tools, using this financial leverage, using trying to expand as much as we have witnessed in Dubai, this will not take away the infrastructure, the legal, the business environment in Dubai. However, it's all about confidence in the market. It's all about confidence in the banking system. It's all about confidence in the policies, and also in the way that the officials are reacting to the crisis. So far, there is a huge shortcomings and deficiency in the way to handle the crisis, to understand what's happening globally, and this is why there is a shake in the confidence, and this is why other regional partners are watching carefully what's happening in Dubai, trying to keep themselves isolated. And you ask about how the regions would be affected by this, if you allow me. Actually, we also have to distinguish that at a regional level, each economy has its own fundamentals, its own dynamics, and I don't think that the influence in the region would be unanimous or similar on each country. I think some countries were conservative. They're being accused of being conservative before October 2008. I think they are protected by the same conservative policies they accused to adopt before this crisis. Now I think we really have to get back and look at the fundamentals of the models, and whether this can be repeated in other countries, and whether this can be sustainable in Dubai, or whether we have really to revisit the whole model.
You're talking about confidence there, and despite the shockwave sent by Dubai's request to delay its debt payments, some world leaders said they're confident that this crisis is surmountable. British Prime Minister, for one, Gordon Brown, said this: "We are satisfied that with the arrangements in place and mechanisms that we've got in place to monitor what's happening, we can be sure," he said, "that this is something that is both containable and is localised. My view," he said, "is the world financial system is stronger now and able to deal with the problems that arise." Mr. Satchu, in Nairobi, you know, the world economy is worth, what, $61 trillion, the Middle East, $1.1 trillion, and Dubai is just a mere fraction of that. So, you know, what impact is this going to have globally?
Well, I don't think it's of the impact of even the size of Lehman was. I quite agree with the comment you're making, and I think it's containable. But Dubai was very much a new 21st century model of, you know, of hyper growth, of hyper leverage, and I think across the globe you're seeing that model now being put aside. And I think Dubai was the last penny to drop. And you know, the days of borrowing billions and billions of this credit-fueled boom has now been stopped, and I think that's a fair point completely. Just quickly, if I may interject regarding Abu Dhabi, I think 2 weeks ago the Sheikh told us all to shut up, and that Abu Dhabi would write a check, basically. I mean, Abu Dhabi is not writing any kind of check. They're actually forcing a fire sale. These amounts are not big, they're small. I mean, they could quite easily have written and underwritten this near-term risk. They did not. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. They said they were going to approach this in a case-by-case basis, which I guess would make Ibrahim Kayat, quite a lot of people rather nervous.
You know, the way we approach this one is we approach it as a bulk. We should dissociate the different variables in a methodological approach to solve an issue like this one. The first one, let's say about competitiveness. Abu Dhabi has been, when Sheikh Zayed, the late Sheikh Zayed was the ruler, was considered as the political capital, while Dubai has been considered as the economic capital. Now, after with the new ruler in taking control and the new approach by the Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, there has been another approach to make Abu Dhabi a futuristic, very modern, and also an economic hub. So here the competition between both hubs has increased, and so this is one point one has to take into consideration. In the end, it's true that there are cousins, the rulers in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. They are the cousins because the mother is in Abu Dhabi, is the aunt of the ruler here in Dubai. But the issue here is there is another one. What we're talking about, the debts in Dubai, I will talk after that about the model, but the debts are divided into loans and assets. The assets are owned. Someone owns them. So if you give him money, do you give them for free? Why is it valid for the government in Dubai to own them while the government in Abu Dhabi has to pay for them for free? So the issue here is about logic. And also, I don't believe Dubai wants to be bailed out completely for all its debts. This is not true. So here we have to relativize the way we are talking about relations between both. The only trick here was why Dubai...
I'm just going to interrupt you again there. I do apologise, but we're just coming towards the end of the programme. I just want to return this back to Ali Khan Satchu, because you were talking about the ruling family in Dubai just a few moments ago. Where do you think we are going next with the ruling family? In a sense, to perhaps contradict what you were saying, the fact that Dubai is run just by a small group of people, that it's possible that the right decisions could be made quickly.
They could, but the track record is not good at the moment, is it? It's shocking. I mean, if you're going to read the tape, you're going to go in one direction. And now you're concentrating more power in what was an imperial decision-making process where the decisions have been a string of wrong decisions. There's been a lack of transparency. There's been sticking your head in the sand, saying things which then within 2 weeks are completely different. And I think that's what's undone Dubai, because people have been led one way and now there's a sequence of events which is going the other way. And the point is, 2 weeks ago we were told to shut up. Today, if you can say they're cousins, you can say whatever you want, but it's a fire sale that this situation has created. And basically, what does that mean? It means that they're going to pick up assets on the cheap. That's what's going to happen.
Ibrahim Saif, what positives can we gain from this Dubai experience? I mean, there are some good things: sports facilities, universities, healthcare, opportunities for investment that in the early days worked well. What positives can we take out of this?
I think we cannot deny the fact that Dubai has one of the best quality infrastructure in the region, one of the best business environment in the region, and now assets price really soared during some times where it really went beyond, and there was this divorce between the prices of the assets and the real value of the asset. I think we're witnessing is sort of a new equilibrium that we are reaching and a new balance that we are reaching, and also a kind of revisiting the model and think quietly about how to get out of this mess. And well, I think now there might be some, I think there will be some bad time ahead of us, but in a short while, I think when the market's starting to pick up and when kind of arrangements reach to cool down the markets, I think there will be some good opportunities. I don't see that Dubai is bashing or vanishing or going out as much as it's, I think Dubai has to be just more realistic about what it could be, what it could reach and what it could have done rightly in that manner. And I agree, I mean, just 2 weeks ago, everybody was still denying, and this is something that ironic that 2 or 3 weeks ago we were asked not to comment on what's happening, and now with this what's happening on Wednesday, postponing the delay, the payment of the debt, I think it is serious, and I think we have to be realistic in dealing with the implications of the global crisis. But something fundamentally has to be changed if others even step in to help Dubai getting out of the mess and to mitigate the implication on other countries in the region.
Okay, well, there's never enough time to discuss issues like this, but that's just about it for now. Thanks very much for illuminating us with your thoughts and analysis, gentlemen. Ibrahim Kayat, Ibrahim Saif and Ali Khan Satchu. Thanks very much indeed. And thanks for watching this edition of Inside Story. We always like to hear your views, so please email, and we welcome your comments and suggestions. Inside Story at aljazeera.net. From me, Nick Clark, it's goodbye.